Hey everyone, welcome to the channel because I'm doing pretty well. Well, today's video is going to be a little different here because I was trying to figure out, like, what's a good video to make for the channel here. And so I came up with this. And so if you see me looking down, it's because I have a lot of notes on my phone here. So I came up with this topic here. Rather than doing a product demonstration or a product review, I was like, you know what? How about I do a video like, who is Mike G? You know, give you an insight as to who the content creator is behind the camera. Things like how I got into detailing, what I do for a living, things of that nature to kind of just get you an idea of like who the person is. This video is long overdue, to be honest. I've done uh, a couple podcasts where I was actually interviewed by someone and kind of just, I share my background there. Rather than sending you to go watch that video, I was like, why don't I just put it on my channel here? And then you guys can get the, my story as to who I am. So I think this is a good topic here. That way, again, it gives you an insight as to who I am and how I got into this whole thing and why I created this channel. So let's get started here. So I'm going to start off by making this statement here. I am not a professional detailer, meaning I don't detail for a living. And the other thing I want to mention is I don't have the desire to detail for a living. Yes, it's hard work, and there's a lot of manual work on there, but I actually like what I do for my actual job. And so I want to touch on what I actually do um, for my job. As much as I can say, I really can't say a whole lot. Um, so I actually went to college and I got my degree in electrical engineering, and I actually work for an aerospace company. And I've been there for, let's see, it's as of August 2025, it's 24 years in at this point. I actually started there when I was, I actually had an internship there. They call it the fancy word that we use is a summer hire, and it was a paid internship. So I started there when I was actually 22. So as of August 2025, I'm 46. So I've been there a long time. And again, over the years, I work with a lot of sharp engineers there, just sharp individuals who are also not engineers. And I've done a lot there in my career, from a circuit card designer, designing cables, testing hardware, being what they call the REA, the Responsible Engineering Authority, where I'm kind of overseeing the hardware that's going to be delivered to our end customer, make sure that, whoever's testing it, whether it's myself or another engineer or some technicians, they have issues, then, I know the hardware in and out, where I can say, hey, this is what the solution is for whatever issues you're having, and then we just want to deliver good quality hardware to our customer. So, I was doing that for a long time, and then I've actually transitioned over to kind of like the leadership, where I actually led a small engineering team, and that was actually a different experience, right? Because I'm really a technical engineer, but I wanted to try that. I gave it a try. Just to be on the, I was on this task for a short period of time, so I didn't have a real long-term task to kind of lead that team. But for the time that I was on there, I actually enjoyed leading the team. And kind of the hardest part about leading a team is delegating work that you have on your plate to them, because you're, as an engineer, you're always, just a technical engineer, you're always want more work. Like, you can handle a lot more than you think, and like, hey, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this type of mentality. But when you become a team leader, you not only have the responsibility of leading your team, but you got to let go of the technical work and give it to your engineers, because they all have a specialty, while you deal with the programmatic stuff, to the paperwork, pushing the paper, charge accounts and all that. That's what you take ownership of. So that's the hardest part of being a team leader. But again, I really enjoyed it, and I'll probably do it again at some point in my career. But I'm back to doing technical work for the time being. But yeah, I've been doing this job for a very long time, and I actually enjoy doing it. And so again, that's why I don't have the desire to detail for a living. So this detailing thing for me is more of a hobby than anything, and that's how it really started. And that's why I started this channel. So the question comes up is like, well, how'd you get into detailing? Well, I'd have to go way back, to a young Mike G, when he was a kid out there watching his dad wash and wax the cars. That's when I was really trying to figure out, I was like, what's my dad doing? He's out there washing the cars, probably like 10 years old, roughly in that age range. And he was always washing the car, and then he would wax it every so often. And he was just, of course, he was using turtle wax, because that's what they had back then. I'm a child of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, in the 90s here. So we didn't have a lot of stuff to on the market there. Primarily it was turtle wax. Every time you went to the store, you'd see the green things of waxes there. And again, McGuire's came on later on, and Mother's. They were also at the store. But yeah, he was washing and wax the cars. And then when I started driving, I started doing this kind of same thing. It's like I want my car to look nice as well, so I was washing it and waxing it. And I was driving an '85 Civic at the time, and that's what I was driving to high school and a little bit to college. And then when I went to college, my brother was starting to learn how to drive because my brother and I are 3 years apart. I'm 3 years older than he is. And so he started driving during my second year of college there. So he needed a car to drive. And so the deal that I agreed upon with my mom and dad at the time, because they actually paid for my college. The school I was going to a Cal State school. It wasn't that expensive at the time. So it was a very affordable school there. And it's a great school. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, so they were paying for my school. And the deal was, if I stayed in school and I got my degree, that they would offer to buy me a car. That was the deal. It would be an early graduation present. Now, if I didn't finish college, the other option was I go and find a job, and then I'd have to go buy my own car. So that was the incentive there. So I stuck with it. I ended up getting that 1999 Pontiac Grand Prix, which I still have to this day. So that car is what, 24 years will be 30, so 26 years at this point I've had the car. So I've had it for a very long time in terms of ownership there. Very low mileage too at this point because I really don't drive it that much. But yeah, that was a deal. Then my brother took over the Honda Civic, and then when he was going to college, he got the same deal that I did. As long as he went to college and he finished his college degree, my parents bought him a new car. He ended up getting a 2001 Cavalier Z24 when he was going to school. So that was the deal. Now, mind you, when I was in college, and I started working at my employer that I'm currently at, it was a paid internship. So I was actually giving my mom and dad money to compensate them for the monthly payment of the Grand Prix. I think the Grand Prix was like a $450 a month payment because I think it was financed at $18,000. I believe that's what it was. So I was just giving my mom and dad some money, a couple $100 here and there. But yeah, that was the deal. So then when I got my Pontiac Grand Prix, and then I started doing the same type of thing that, again, the internet wasn't as big as it is now. It was just starting at the time. YouTube wasn't a thing back then. We're talking 1999. And so I was doing a lot of research like on the forums and stuff. And I was doing a lot of stuff by hand on the Grand Prix. I mean, I was washing it and waxing, claying, and at this point I had moved on to the Meguiar's product line, the maroon line that they have. I was using that system. Was it the deep crystal system, whatever? I think that's what it's called. So I was using that system, the clay, the 3 steps, or was it the compound polish, and then of course the wax. I was doing the whole thing by hand there. And then NXT 2.0 came out, so then I transitioned over to NXT 2.0. Actually NXT, then NXT 2.0, and then I transitioned over to Meguiar's Ultimate Liquid Wax. So I kind of just was using a lot of Meguiar stuff. And then when I started working at my job is when I really started to do a lot of, that's when it really kind of took more of a, in-depth into detailing here. And I joined a lot of forums at that time. I joined the Meguiar's online forum, of course, because again, I was a big Meguiar's guy back then. Then I joined the AutoGeek forum, and I joined the Utopia forum, and I also joined the Adams forum. So I joined all these forums there. But I primarily stayed on the Meguiar stuff, and then and the AutoGeek forum. Like those are my 2 main forums. Well, come to find out, when I joined the AutoGeek forum, there was a guy by the name of Mike Phillips, and he had a lot of write-ups, technical write-ups on the forum. He still does. You can still find them there. They're kind of just archived. Believe it or not, the forum is still going to this day. And he had a lot of write-ups on there, and I ran to one write-up on machine polishing. So I read that. I followed Mike's directions on the write up there, and I actually just self-taught myself on how to polish, machine polish, my Grand Prix. I bought the Lake Country pads, and I bought the border cable. That was like the machine at the time, and then I just used the Meguiar's Ultimate line, Ultimate Compound, Ultimate Polish, and I was going back and forth between Ultimate Liquid Wax and Meguiar's M21, which is the professional side of it, and topping that with the M26 wax. I was just gonna go, and that was the paste wax. So I was just gonna just going back and forth between those two because those are like uh, my main product line. So again, I self-taught myself to do all that on the Grand Prix, and then while I was on the forum, I saw people doing product reviews. Mike Phillips was doing product reviews. Other people were doing product reviews on whatever products they were buying from the AutoGeek store, because AutoGeek had a huge store. They were offered a lot of brands there. And so I was like, you know what? I want to do something similar. So I started writing reviews on the forum. And you can find the reviews are still there. Just look up the Goose. I post my name on my screen name on the screen. You can just search that on plus AutoGeek or Atopia. You'll see it. Google that and you'll see all these write-ups I had on there. And so I started doing write-ups there and just share my experience with different products. And people, gravitated towards them. And, I got rather popular on the forum as one of the guys to just review product lines. Well, eventually that caught the eye of Megan, who was at AutoGeek, and also Nick when he was over at AutoGeek. We're talking Nick, who's at McKee's. And they would send me some stuff here and there to kind of just review products and post my thoughts on the forum. So they would just send me some of the house brand stuff from like Wolfgang or Detailers Pro at the time, Pinnacle Black Label, Pinnacle, just random things, Blackfire. They would just send me stuff from there and just kind of share my experience with it. Again, I was just doing that. And then YouTube started making a thing. Like I hopped on YouTube before YouTube was popular. I was like, let me just kind of hop on this. I started seeing some people use it. And so then I started using that. And what I used YouTube for is I use it as a supplemental to my write-up. So I had this long technical write-up on the forum, and then I would just pop a little embedded video of whatever I was referring to. Like for example, like my first videos, if you look on the channel, they're not very good because all they were showcasing were like glass coating water behavior. And so that's what I would use. If I was writing a review on a glass coating on the forum, I would just use that just to kind of show the water behavior on the glass. So again, it was just a supplemental to it. And it really, when I started kind of getting into YouTube, I don't even know what year this was at this point. I had started making, actually more videos, thorough videos on product reviews. And the one that really caught the eye of somebody was the CarPro Elixir. I made that video, just kind of just showcased that, and Avi from CarPro saw it, and then from then he just started messaging me on the AutoGeek forum. We transitioned over to Facebook, and just easier to kind of just maintain communication there. And then that's, he kind of just said, hey, I really like your video. I want to send you some of the new CarPro stuff. But the funny thing was when he was telling me this stuff I still have that private message, is Avi asked me, he's like, how much would you charge me to make a video? And I was thinking to myself, like, what's he talking about? And I was like, you don't have to pay me anything. He's like, just if you send me stuff, I'll just give you my honest feedback on it. And so that's how I've always been. And I come to find out later on why he was asking that question, which I'm not going to say why on camera, because I don't want to start some things here, but I came to find out why. And again, from then on, Avi would just sends me the CarPro stuff. He just reaches out and say, hey, I'm going to send you some new stuff. Now he has Corey over at Sky's the Limit send me products because it's just easier to ship from the US versus from South Korea, because when he would send me stuff from South Korea, Avi, I would have to wait, come through, I think DHL, and yeah, it would just take a while to get here. And then now they just drop ship from Sky's the Limit. He just has Corey send me. It's just much quicker. But yeah, I appreciate Avi for doing that, for sending me stuff. And again, same thing when Nick was over at AutoGeek. He sent me stuff, and Megan. Oh, Megan was the best at AutoGeek. And then when I met her, she's in person. I mean, she's just an amazing person in there. But yeah, you know, I just started transitioning over to YouTube at that point. And I didn't realize at the time, because I saw that the forums were losing their audience, in a sense, people participating on the forum. It was just getting slow, and so I started transitioning over to YouTube, and then some people from AutoGeek followed me on the channel there, and then I really didn't start taking the channel serious until probably right before like 2019 or so, roughly around that time frame. Like my whole goal, initial goal from YouTube was, let me get to 1,000 subscribers, just so I can make some money, and then I was gonna be done. I was like, I'm done. That was my goal. And then you know, I got to 1,000 subscribers, and then from then on, I just kept going on there. But that was my original goal. You know, after 1,000 subscribers, I was just gonna be done with it. But I just kept going because I saw the channel grow. But then, like I said, I started taking it more serious, especially during the times of COVID. You know, 2020 was a real good, you know, that's when I started seeing people just subscribe to the channel and whatnot, and it kind of just took off from there. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with it and see how this goes. So that was the whole thing behind the channel. There is, you know, I just kind of just stuck with it. You know, I wasn't gonna once I hit 1,000 again, I was just gonna be like, I'm done. I'll let this just kind of ride, and whatever little money was coming in, I was just gonna, you know, just take that and use it for other stuff. But again, I just kept going, and I was, you know, this detailing thing was you know, a hobby, and I was like, it's a outlet for me, for my typical job, just to kind of, was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep doing this, and do it for as long as I have the desire to do so, and the passion to do so. And so that's what I'm just continue to do, make these videos for you guys. It's just, you know, I still have the passion to share my thoughts on this. I mean, there's so many different products really, and they all do the same thing in the end, so you don't need to go buy everything. So I'm just kind of trying to be a little bit more transparent with you guys and more open, and say, you know, don't go chase everything. So that's kind of like my whole deal. Like I want to be that type of person. It's like, hey, look, I don't want to be the same guy that says, this product came out, it's the best product, go around and buy it. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that says, this product came out, should you go out and buy it? Yes or no? And again, a lot of the products are the same type of thing. But you know, I have my favorites here and there, which we'll share, you know, yearly. But that's how I really started my channel, and I was just kind of going forward there. And I just continue to kind of just push forward with the channel, and it's opened so many doors in terms of relationships with individuals. I mean, when I was on the AutoGeek forum, I'm gonna take this back for so the YouTube channel. Let me go back. So the YouTube channel again introduced me to a lot of individuals from different brands. You have Tim over at Ethos, right? We speak here and there, and he sends me some stuff to test out behind the scenes before it launches, just like the rinseless wash. You know, they went through a couple of iterations, and he sent it to me. So he sends me stuff here and there to test out. So I appreciate Tim for doing that. Same thing for the guys over at Armor Detail Supply. You know, Bradley and DJ. You know, when I started making my videos, there was really no other content on their products, and so I started generating content for them. They kind of took off, and you know, we formed a relationship there. You know, with those two guys, and you know, those are two great guys as well. And again, on occasion, they will send me some stuff. So you know, I appreciate them and meeting them. Of course, you know, Ivan reaches out to me from DIY Detail to send me some things. Sam, also from DIY Detail, he'll reach out to me every so often. Who else? I had the Aaron over from Phoenix EOD, right? You know, having a chance to be on his podcast, Curmudgeon's Corner. Wow. Being on there, invited there, and then, you know, him sending me stuff here and there. You know, meeting Eileen through him, and just random people. Of course, Eddie and Jamie, and you know, meeting them, and also the chance to meet or interact with Pan, right? Interacting with Pan and Josh V, interacting with them. So it's been it's been a real nice experience with the YouTube channel. And then as far as the, ooh, I wanted to sneeze, but I hold it back. Now, when I was on the AutoGeek forum, like I said, that when I was writing my reviews, it actually gave me exposure to, and I developed relationships with individuals. As I mentioned, Megan over at when she was at AutoGeek customer service. Now she's at Cars Candy or something like that. Nick, when he was running Pinnacle Black Label and Detailers Pro, now he's over at Nick. I'm talking about Nick Rudder. Now he's over at McKee's 37 doing his thing, and I further relationship with him. Mike Phillips, getting a chance to work with Mike Phillips on a TV show, Competition Ready. If I wasn't an active member on the forum, I would never have the opportunity to be on that show, and I'll post a link to that as well so you guys can check that out. But I was on that episode too, and part of the team there. I had a great experience in that. I was also able to meet individuals there, and we stayed in touch since then. I think that was in 2017. Yeah, roughly. Yeah, 2017, I believe that's when it was. So again, just opened up doors, and again, as mentioned, Avi over at CarPro. So it could just open doors on the forum to meet people and then interact with people, and then the YouTube channel also, as it gets larger, has the chance to meet other individuals. I forgot to mention the guys over when they were the former reps at Geon. Now they're at B&B Blending, Nate and Will, and then through them I was able to meet Chris Gallagher, who's the chemist at B&B. So again, the channel has opened up so much, and I appreciate everybody's time to, if I have questions or just being invited to a podcast, that type of thing. Well, I forgot Frank. How can I forget Frank? He invited me to his podcast twice on the Thor channel. So again, just the ability to meet all these people, and it's been a great experience thus far. And so that's a byproduct of having a channel where people can just reach out to you. It's like, hey, people will reach out to me via Instagram, and just some or email, just ask me questions. So again, I appreciate that. It's always nice hearing from people, and then I'll respond to you. I may take a little bit to respond to you, but I will get to you, so don't feel like I forgot about you. But again, I'll answer your questions at any time. So that's the story of who Mike G is. Again, I hope this kind of helps you understand who I am in the background. I'll just continue pushing forward with doing product reviews and demonstrations, and we'll see what catches my eye. One thing I kind of want to mention is, what I see more for this channel, kind of like the same type of thing. If a product catches my eye, or I get the urge to try something, I'll share my experience with it. So I'll do that, and then just trying to figure out what's good creative content. Like for example, rinseless washing wheels was a good one too, right? So I may do like some basic stuff to kind of just help some of the newcomers on the channel, because there's a lot of people who come to the channel who are fairly new, and maybe they don't have the background or detailing. They're just getting started. So I'm hoping to kind of just share some more of that content. For example, how to rinse a wash, or how to wash a car, or how to clean glass. Things, basic stuff that people in general know, but hey, some new people would like to see somebody else's technique. So probably start doing a little bit of that as well. Kind of just showcasing different things here. And again, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible at the same time. I think that's all I can really offer. And I hope you guys are okay with that. And again, we'll just continue to push forward. And I appreciate everybody's continued support and commenting and asking questions. That's all, always a good thing. So again, don't feel like you can't ask me anything. You can ask me anything you desire. If the question is not on topic to the video, again, I will still answer your question. So again, don't be intimidated by asking me. I like to stay approachable to all of you. So again, that's my background, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and whether this is was a good experience for you guys in terms of getting to know me a little bit. And yeah, man. So again, I appreciate you guys. Ooh, one other thing before I forget. I appreciate you guys using the affiliate links. So here's the thing. Again, as I mentioned, I want to be transparent as possible. So this YouTube channel, does kick back some money. So the more people that watch the videos, of course, the more money you're going to make. And of course, the more subscribers you have, the more people are going to watch the video, the more money you're going to get back on a monthly thing. Now, I'm not making a grand scheme of a whole lot of money. You know, it's just, I'll have to share whatever I make this year. I forget how much I made last year. It wasn't that much. 2,000 maybe, roughly in there. Like I can't live off of YouTube. There's no way I could live off of YouTube. I think it was roughly around $1,400 to $2,000 is roughly where I was at. But yeah, that's you know, I get money there, and then any time that you guys use the affiliate links or promo codes, I will get money back from that as well. So for House of Rags, Reduce Supply, Ethos, McKee's, whoever promo codes you guys use, DIY Detail, you know, that'll kick back a little bit of money back my way. And so what I do with that money is I'll just reinvest it onto other products. And again, if something catches my eye, I'll use that money and then I'll just go and purchase that. 2025 has been a little different because nothing's really stood out to me, so I haven't really spent that much in there. So I kind of just been banking whatever I've been getting from the affiliate links. I've just kind of just been banking it, just letting it sit there for a while, and then eventually I'll use the money to buy something here and there, you know, detailing related product there. Same thing goes for Amazon. So any Amazon links that you guys use, again, I get a little kickback from that. And so again, I created an Amazon store, a storefront to help you guys, for those of you who like shopping on Amazon because you have Prime and you can take advantage of that. I created that store, and so again, anything you buy from Amazon will kick back a little something my way on there. At some point, again, I'm not making a lot of money off Amazon, but eventually if you guys use my affiliate links from Amazon or any of those other places, it will kick back a little something my way. I just want to be transparent with you guys on what I'm doing with the money. Again, it just sits there until I decide to go and buy something. Like if I wanted to buy like another coating or a soap, I'll just use some of that money that's there. I'll just go back and purchase it. Or sometimes I'll just leave it there. And I'm thinking about this year just donating whatever I have in that bank. If I don't use the entire balance on there, just donating that to some sort of charity. Kind of just thinking about that this year as well. So just want to share some insight for you guys, and kind of just share, you know, again, my background as to who I really am. That this detailing thing is, again, it's more of a hobby level, high level enthusiast. You need to call me a high level enthusiast. I did forget to mention, I do detail on the side on occasion. I just don't go out and chase the detail, meaning I'm not putting my name out there as like, hey, I'm free this weekend, come and and put my stuff out there. I really don't. If somebody is referred to me by someone, I will go ahead and do a job for them. So that's kind of like my path on there. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next one. Take care.